Most people walk right past these Dollar Tree peel and stick finds, but today I'm going to show you why they deserve a second look. Let's turn these hidden gems into some beautiful high-end home decor. Hi, I'm Loli. Let's create something beautiful and find a little joy along the way. For this project, we'll be using these little houses from the Dollar Tree. First, I tried using them in a cylinder vase, but as soon as I removed the tape, the houses popped right back off, even though I glued them down using some E6000. So I figured I will not have that problem with a flat surface. So I'm going to use these candle holders that I got from Carolina Pottery in my trip in April down there, and we're going to remove the tag off of each of them. I'm going to use 2 of these smaller ones from Carolina Pottery and one bigger one that's at the center that came from Dollar Tree. And it doesn't get any easier than that. I just took them and stuck them right in the middle of each one of these, making sure that everything was centered and leveled, especially at the bottom, so everything stands straight. Once I had this nicely adhered, we are going to do the same thing with the other 2 on each side. I was debating whether to use 2 of the same houses on these, but I ended up using 2 different ones just so I had a little bit more variation. So here I'm just adding the one with the 4 windows. Then for this one, I decided to use the one with the heart. I should have used the other one that had the square because that's kind of a little bit different. We already have a heart in the middle, but that's what I did at that time. And I made sure that they were straight and even with each other. And then I make sure to press them down firmly. And that was enough to adhere them. I'm not going to be using real candles for these, so it is fine. The heat will not be bothering them. So at this point, I'm going to remove the film that's at the top of each one of these houses to reveal that beautiful mirror that's behind it. And we're going to do it with the other one as well. And that is it for this one. I just pop some tea light candles inside of them, and look how beautiful this turned out. Let me in the comment section, what do you think about this project? I am in love. For this one, I'll be using this lit picture frame that I got from Ollie's for just $1. We're going to just go ahead and remove it from the packaging. And this is a piece that is magnetic. So the top section here is like an acrylic piece. The picture will go here, and then you will press it back down and it lights up. So we are just going to go ahead and use the acrylic section right here. And I'm going to first clean it nicely with some alcohol. Then I'm going to take one of these houses. I'm actually going to use 2 out of this package, but for now, I'm going to grab one of the houses that are in this project here to the side. This was a failed project that's supposed to be in this video, but we're not going to waste supplies. So we're going to use this one right here on the corner. And I'm going to take the larger one of the houses right here, position it in the middle. And then I'm going to take the house that matches the heart one right there from the packaging and position it right next to that one. I'm doing this, I'm making sure that the bottoms are flush and that everything is spaced nicely. And once I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and just press it down and remove the film from both of the houses that still have the film. My friend, if you enjoyed this video so far, please don't forget to hit that like button. And while you're there, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified each time I upload a new video. All these things are free and they mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And with this project is complete. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. I hope you can find this frame if you have a local Ollie's. My friends, so this video is part of the Budget to Beautiful collaboration, and this is hosted by Touch by Time with Nikki and Craft Alone with Jay. And I have the privilege of being the guest host this month. The link to our channels and the playlist will be linked in the description box below, so make sure to head on over and show everyone some love. You're not going to believe this frame when I'm done with it. We're going to start with this one from the Dollar Tree. We're going to remove the packaging and remove all of the backing, the glass, and pretty much everything from the back. And we're going to place it to the side for now. I'm going to take this frame, take it outside, and give it 2 coats with this Rust-Oleum flat black paint. While that dries, I'm taking these stickers from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this family one and this clock right here. We are going to paint it with 2 coats of our rich black paint from Full Cart. This paint is so thick that all you need is 1 coat. If you're interested in getting it, I will leave a link to it in my description box below. And we're going to do the same thing with this clock right here. Next, I took some antique gold rub and buff, and I'm going to just pretty much dry brush it onto the brush there. And using my brush sideways, I'm just lightly hitting all the raised areas of the clock to reveal the details. You can see the hands and all of the little numbers. And I'm doing both the square that's around the clock as well as the clock, because I'm not sure which one, if I'll be using both or just the clock at this point. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the family. I will be brushing it on in one direction after putting lightly some rub and buff on my brush, as you see there, and then just hitting it there, and you can see how beautifully the word family is being revealed and that beautiful gold finish. Looks just like a piece of metal. Now we're going to do the same thing with the frame. I'm going to add it to the edges of my brush, and I'm just hitting the raised edges. And here you can see the transformation. It went from a plain frame to a frame that looks like it's metal and came from a high-end store. I just continue to do that all the way around, revealing this beautiful finish. Look at that. I am in love with this. Nobody will think that came from Dollar Tree. All right, now we're going to take the glass and position it on this piece of peel and stick that we got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to position it in the back of the peel and stick paper in this section that I want to cut off, and then I use a marker to trace off the glass. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut off that section so I'm able to position it onto my glass. I started by adding or removing the backing from the smallest section of the peel and stick, and I'm making sure that it's straight and square with both the horizontal and the vertical corners of the glass, and that ensures that everything remains straight. Once everything is lined up perfectly, I'm going to glue that section down, then remove the backing from the largest section, place this at the bottom, and smooth down as I remove the backing and make sure that there are no bubbles. Now we're going to reposition that onto our frame, and we're going to also position the back. But first, I make sure what is the top and what's the bottom, because I always put on the stand on backwards. Does that happen to you too? All right, so we're going to go ahead and close this up with using our little spindles. And this is beautiful like this, right? But you're not ready. I'm not done yet. We're going to position these little pieces. We're going to take the family piece here and stick it right here to the top, making sure that everything is nice and straight before we press down, because that glue is really strong. So we're going to press that down. Then at this point, I decided, you know what? Let's see, am I going to use the whole thing or I'm going to use the clock? So as I'm putting this on here, the choice was made for me. It looked beautiful with just the clock. So I decided to leave the frame away and position the stopwatch right here on the center, making sure that it's nicely centered and that it is straight. And once I was happy with it, we're going to go ahead and press down. And that is all the glue you need for this. And that is it for this project. Please let me know in the comment section what do you think. I love it. I'll be using some peel and stick to transform this edible arrangement container that I have left over from an arrangement. I'll start with painting the top rim right here using this moss color from Waverly. And I'm doing the same thing to the bottom section as well. Once it was nicely dry, we're going to take some of this matte Mod Podge and cover the paint areas with it. Then I'm taking this beautiful printed green peel and stick from the Dollar Tree. This is a piece that I had left over from a different project. I'm going to just remove some of the backing from the little section there, and I'm going to line it up right there, right below that indentation of the top of the tin. Once I make sure that everything is nice and straight, I'm going to secure that piece in place, and slowly I will be removing the backing, making sure everything remains smooth and straight. I noticed that I was having wrinkling, so I removed some of the bottom section here, and I continued to do this and smooth until I went all the way around the entire tin. I also made sure to crease the edges here where the tin is, because we'll be cutting that leftover piece also later on, but I wanted to make sure that everything else was straight before I did that. Next, I took my X-Acto knife and I wanted to just trim that because I felt like I needed to do it. I did do it in small sections. I dented it as you see there with my nail. Then I'm coming in with my X-Acto knife and cut off the excess here. I wanted that rim to show on the finished project. And for some reason, I changed my blade like twice for the X-Acto knife. And it kept coming back jagged. I'm going to have to try a different X-Acto knife. But I just kept doing this very patiently. There was some areas in which the paper was kind of gluing on to the areas. I had to kind of be very careful so it will not tear off or remove the paint in the process. And I did that all the way around. Once I got here to the end, I'm going to let the paper kind of overlap to make sure that everything joins nicely. I had a little bit of overlap there, but that's fine. So we're going to remove the remaining piece from the bottom. And I had a little bit of paint chipped off. So I just took my small paintbrush and somewhere the most paint and I'm going to just touch up any areas in which the paint was removed. Then I took some of this ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree and I'm going to position it right here at the bottom. I really love that color and I thought it complemented this very nicely. Once I knew exactly how much I needed, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess off of it and we are going to attach it to the bottom. To do that, I'll just be using some hot glue. I'm just adding some right here and I'm doing it in the same area in which I started and ended the paper. That way all of my seams are in the same place. I just tacked my end there and I just kept adding hot glue at different intervals, making sure that the edge of the fabric was very against and straight against that little green lip at the bottom of the tin. And I kept doing that until I went all the way around. Once I got here to the other side, I had quite a bit of overlap. So I decided to cut off that excess piece and just leave the minimum amount of overlap here. Then we're going to just go ahead and burn the edges of the ribbon to avoid any fraying. And then add a little bit of hot glue over the beginning of the other piece of ribbon right here on the other side and tack this one right down. And that is it for this one. This turned out so beautiful. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. You can use it for pencils, brushes, whatever you like. All right, don't blink for this one. It is so easy. I got this basket from the thrift store. I think I paid like $3 for it, something like that. I didn't like how fuzzy the handles were, so I'm going to just go ahead and burn off those fuzzies and be careful to not burn down the rest of the rope. And I did the same thing with the two sides. Now we're going to flip this over and we're going to remove the wooden section. This was so easy. All I had to do was remove the screws from each one of the pieces here and remove that board. I'm going to put all those screws in a safe place. And we're going to take this peel and stick that we got from our Dollar Tree. And it is brand new. Look how beautiful this is. I removed the smallest section of the backing and lined it up with the edge of the wood. Then I decided that I did not want the wood to show. So I ended up centering the peel and stick paper instead. So I had peel and stick paper on all sides, I would say about an inch, inch and a half on all sides. The easiest way was to flip it over so I can see how much space I had between. Once I had one edge pretty much attached to the peel and stick, I removed the rest of the peel and stick back in as I'm smoothing everything down. And then we're gonna flip it over and we're going to maneuver the edges so everything looks seamless. I started by folding up the longest sides first, making sure that it was nice and straight and that it looked nice and square on the edges. That would have been the top. That's going to be the top section of this wood piece. Once those were nicely adhered, I'm going to cut some slits on those edges. I wanted the peel and stick to truly cover all of the sides of this wood. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over so I can see there, and I'm creating a slit right there at the same level as the wood. So I'm able to fold that over, and I'm doing it on the bottom and on the top. The width of the girth of the wood piece, if that makes any sense. And then I'm folding it in as you see there. And then I'm going to trim off the top piece that is left over in an angle. You see how I'm doing there on that side? And I'm going to trim it off on the other side as well. And I repeated that process with all 4 of the sides. And this is what we were left with. Now we're going to begin folding these. So I started folding the smallest sides first. I wanted to make sure that everything was straight, that nothing looked wonky or uneven. So I made sure that the bottom section was completely flush with the edge of the wood to make sure to preserve the shape of the wood as well. I didn't want any bubbling or any kind of sagging. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 sides here, and that left a nice corner in all 4 corners. And as you see there, you still can see all of the holes where the screws were. So now we are going to go ahead and reposition this back into our basket. Look at how neat those corners are. All right, now we're bringing back our basket. I'm going to position it as you see there. I'm going to do it backwards so I can see and screw everything back in place. I'm going to hold it in place and start with 2 screws. The 2 screws that are opposite from each other. So I'm going to start with this side right here. We're going to position our screw in place and use our screwdriver to tighten it up. But first we're going to attach the other one on this side as well. And then this made everything line up perfectly, and I just tightened up all of the screws. And that is it for this project. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about this one. I absolutely love it. For this one, we'll be using one of these laptop rises from the Dollar Tree. I got it for $3. First things first, we're going to remove that tag. It came out nicely. I always love when that happens. Then I'm taking a wipe, a dry wipe, and some alcohol, and I'm going to clean the entire surface to make sure that there are no smudges and no lint anywhere around. Then I'm going to use these beautiful butterfly decals that I got from Dollar Tree. We are going to remove each individual one and position them in different places of the entire surface. I opted to just drop mine right on. You can always cut the mariposas, that's what we call it in Spanish. You can always cut the butterflies on the with still the backing on it, and then arrange them to see how you like them, and then do them that way, and then glue them down once you know exactly where you want them. Because once they stick good, guys. This has beautiful adhesion. I just kept going with it, just seeing where I would like each one of these, and I just kept applying them all around. My friend, if you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit the like button. And while you're there, let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. I would love to know how far my videos are reaching. And share, because sharing is caring and it helps my channel grow. Thank you so much. Well, as you see, I just placed them in different areas, trying to mix the sizes of the butterflies. And then I applied one of them also on the sides right here. And I love it just like this. But if you like to add more, you're more than welcome to use more than one packet and put as many as you want. That is the beauty of DIYs. And I think this elevated this project so much. Now it just looks like a beautiful work of art. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this project. I absolutely love it. This one is so simple but so elegant. We're going to start with this cylinder vase from the Dollar Tree. First thing that I did was clean it really nicely with some alcohol. Then I took some of this leftover peel and stick that I had from a different project, and I'm going to use this edge right here. I'm going to try to line it up as best as I can. The top section there was straight, the bottom not so much, but we are going to just go ahead and try to position this as straight as possible. This peel and stick was very forgiving to me, so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing it straight here. That is the hardest part, guys. Just, take your time with this one. And once you are happy and you know exactly that is straight, commit and just go all the way around. And then here, when I got to the end, I noticed that it was still a little overlapping, but it is fine. We're going to fix that later on and make it a beautiful mistake. So once they both kind of almost were symmetrical, we're going to go ahead and remove any excess paper that we have here at the bottom. I found that it was easier for me to just cut it off using those small scissors from the Dollar Tree, and then just bend down any other edges so it molds nicely to the bottom of the hurricane vase. Now we're going to take this candle holder and some E6000. I'm going to add E6000 to all the raised edges of the candle holder. I figured that E6000 is the best for glass, and most of the time the hot glue kind of impedes. It kind of makes it chunkier, or it creates a bigger space in between the two. So here I'm just making sure that everything is straight and making sure that it is leveled as well. And the E6000 is very forgiving with that because you're able to adjust and just let it sit overnight to dry. Next, I took some of this velvet ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and we're going to put it right there around the rim, right there where the cylinder base and the peel and stick kind of join together. And if you see there, I burned the edges, that's so I have no fraying. Then I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue on the edge of the back of my ribbon here, position it exactly where the peel and stick, the two pieces of peel and stick kind of join together, and slowly just add it all around the same level, all the way around. And then we're going to add some hot glue here towards the end to attach. But I had a little bit too much of the ribbon there, so we're going to cut off some so I don't have that much of an overlap. Then we're going to add some hot glue right there, and that is so everything stays level. It just felt like it was just giving me a hard time. It was kind of becoming wavy, so I'm just adding some hot glue there to keep everything straight, and then adding some hot glue at the end. I just find that this was the easiest way to keep everything level and use the least amount of hot glue possible. And now that everything is the way that I want it, we're going to tack it here down as well, making sure that the both ribbons are pretty much lining up. And that is it for this one. We're going to just pop a candle in there. Let me know what you think. And here is a brief recap of all of the projects from today. Please don't forget to let me know in the comment section below which one is your favorite and if you would like to recreate them. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, here are a couple more videos you are sure to enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're amazing. Bye.